Hello, hello, hello. Oh, is that it? Is it working? Oh, I hate updates so much. I hate updates. Okay, you guys can, there we go. I don't know what's up. OBS, I had an update and it took everything down. I noticed earlier my super chat, if you notice, I had to throw together a new super chat logo because all my old logos are no longer good. I can't even use my opening screen anymore. So I've got to go through and reset all that stuff. Okay, I unmuted you. It says Vu just share. Let me get back to. Hang on just a second. We'll get this thing going. I swear to God. Let me. There's no. The links are all. Okay, hang on. We're doing this on. I'm gonna post this in Razorback Nation really quick. If you guys are on Facebook, live Hogs. I don't know. They blow a 15-point lead, but then find a way to close the game out. That's what matters. Hogs beat the Gators. Hogs beat the Gators. Hashtag, even though they're pointless on Facebook, woo pig suey. No, that's stupid. Live. Hogs beat the Gators. Come join in on the fun. Come join in on the fun in chat. All right. I don't even care. I'm so over OBS today. All right. Do me a favor, you guys. I didn't get to do my intro, and I can't do my intro, but like the video, like. Throw up the likes. Give me some likes. Get the likes up. Come on now. Share the content across social media, however, wherever. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hogs beat the Gators. This team is money, says Jeff Goodrich. Super chat is enabled. And of course, if you guys want to join, if you're curious about joining the PT and Patreon, that also goes towards helping out the channel. It's $4 a month if you want to come be a part of the PT and Patreon and have your name added to the description box down below. So I love how I knew, like, the funny thing is I knew the mic wasn't working because I could see, if anyone's familiar with OBS, you can see your let me turn this down a little bit. You could see your feed here on OBS. Like, you can tell there's no sound going through. So I've got you guys, like 15 of you, like, we can't hear you. I get it. I know that. I can see it right in front of me. I got it. And here we are. Hogs didn't hog for once. Is that Pinto? Jacob, are you secretly Pinto? Let me scroll up here. OBS must be shit today. No, it's not their fault. There was an update, and I just didn't realize they kicked everything. Mic check. Thank you, Jayhawks. Please stand by for technical difficulties. This is the fun part about doing this stuff live. We go through it together. How intimate, right? Okay, what a game. I will admit this game made me nervous. I was really nervous about this game. Florida's good. Like, Florida's a good basketball team. I think one thing that definitely held in the Razorbacks' favor tonight is the depth. Florida just doesn't have the depth. I think Arkansas has a little bit more talent. I think they're a better, a more solid team head to toe, is what I think about the Razorbacks compared to Florida. But it still made me nervous. They have a little bit of size. They have a couple of guys that can be go-to underneath. And the other thing that's scary is they're like the highest percentage shooting team in the SEC. They're the number one percentage three-point team. Shots made. What is that? What is over here clinging? What is this? Is it this cup? I don't know. My wife's in here working, and she just messes everything up. I'm kidding. I love you, Sarah. But no, they're really good. They're really good at shooting the ball. They're really good at shooting the ball. And Arkansas's defense, it kind of looked like early on, like, oh boy, Florida's going to open things up and they're going to start knocking down threes left and right. Arkansas's defense responded really well. And this very well had Arkansas, you take away a couple stupid turnovers in the beginning of the half and you don't allow them to come back. I think they ended up shooting at one point, like, I don't know, it seemed like 75% from the floor for a period of time there in the third to close that 15-point gap. It felt like this thing was going to be a blowout. Like Arkansas, I think they realistically could have had about a 20-plus point lead in this game, if not for a couple of just goofy turnovers and what have you. I will say this too. There were a couple of calls. We got to talk about this every game. It is the SEC after all. For anybody who complains that people complain about SEC officiating, I want you to go back and watch the game. This was not a game that was, again, I have been relatively easy on the SEC officiating this year. I don't know if there's been a game yet where I'm like, this was horrendous. I have to say, I think even though SEC officiating probably is the bottom of Power 5 officiating of the Power 5 conferences, tonight, outside of a couple of calls on Connor, there was a foul on Connor that was just ridiculous. He got all ball. Maybe there's some slight contact, but you go back to when Connor tried to dunk the ball, maybe a few possessions before that, he was clearly fouled and there was nothing called. I mean, he went up and Florida just attacked the rim on defense. Like anytime, whether it's Justin Smith, Jalen Williams, Connor Vanover, whoever tried to attack the rim, they were there. And there's all kinds of contact, and I'm okay with them swallowing the whistle there. But then on the other end of the court, you got Connor on a goofy light contact call that should have ended up being, if I remember correctly, should have ended up being the Razorbacks ball. Should have ended up being hog ball. And they got Connor for the foul. But, overall, though, no game is going to be perfectly officiated. I'd have to give them another passing grade on officiating. No, not because Arkansas is winning. Hell, I thought the Oklahoma State game, outside of a couple of meh calls, in the second half, thought that was a really well officiated game. Fishman with the $5 dono. Yeah, Hogs Depth showed up late for sure. Thanks for the show, Ty. Thank you, Fishman. As you guys know, Super Chat will always take priority. This is a big win. This is a big win because when the dust settles, Florida could be a quad one win. It's not easy to go inside Bud Walton, and Arkansas could have easily had a 20-point lead tonight. They're playing so much better basketball the second half of the season. It's just so much better. I still have an issue with how it's so much harder than it should be for them to score in the paint. It is so hard for them to get buckets at the rim. They're terrible around the rim. They've gotten better. They have gotten better. I will say that. I'm going to put on my reading glasses because I'm going to try and get caught up on chat before I look at the old stat sheet here. Yeah, I thought Arkansas played really well. They blow a 15-point lead, which is not nice. But you led for what, almost 40 minutes of this game. You led for nearly 40 minutes, I think, against Florida. By the way, Florida, who's won, I think, 7 of the last 8. And yeah, they've dominated Arkansas lately, and I think their overall series win is something. It's not good. It's a lot worse than it should be, especially when you consider the 90s. But you have to put everything away in the 2000s, right? Red Wolf with the $5 dono. Nothing to say. He's just donating $5 through the live chat. You go, Red Wolves. Thank you. All right. Again, if you guys want to become members of the PT and Patreon, you can do that as well. Let's go down this. Well, no, let me get caught up on chat. J.R. Shelton. We get a double-digit lead, and our shot selection goes to shit. I'm really surprised that didn't get held for review, JR. YouTube must like you. I would have approved it. It did. They get this huge lead, and all of a sudden there's less ball movement. They're turning the ball over. Shot selection was duty. How about also, by the way, speaking of shot selection, Moses Moody with that corner pocket, one of the toughest three-point shots you can make, with a corner pocket three while being contested, while being defended. It was impressive. Red Wolves, I'll read since I think you meant to put this in your super chat. I'll read it for you, buddy. Woo damn pig. How about some gator meat tonight? I am ready to whoop Alabama's ass in Bud Walton Arena. Here's my message. It didn't let me message. Okay, well, I got you, buddy. I got you. It's what I do here. Dylan Bray, how you doing, man? If Arkansas wins out and Alabama loses 2 games, guess who becomes number 1 in the SEC? Well, and you're still going to have to get through the SEC tournament, which, I mean, if you're in, who cares at that point? I appreciate how improved this team is. They put up more and more of a fight each game. They do. They really do. The hustle is just great. Let me read a couple more here. Devo's our high energy guy. He's a spark plug. He's like a spark plug. I agree, Fishman. Razorback fan 2794. Connor lacks aggressiveness in the post. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I want to whip LSU and Bama's ass, says Michael Berry. This is why you come here and not listen to the radio. Much respect to my guy Ty Richardson. Oh, by the way, I have to give you guys a quick little I don't know if he's in chat or not, but a Twitch streamer, and I'm going to throw any Razorback content creator, whether they're on Twitch, YouTube, I don't care. If they're cool and I watch them for a little bit and I like what they do, I'm going to throw them some recognition, if you will. There's a Twitch streamer. Now, you guys know Twitch, right? You can go to Luke Never Shaves. Shout out to him. He live streams the games for free. I mean, people complain all the time about not being able to watch the Razorbacks because of their streaming services, or because they're too expensive. Luke Never Shaves, all one word, Luke Never Shaves. He knocks that out of the park for you. So shout out to him. But that's not who I'm talking about. He goes by the name, I don't know if he's in chat, Ricky Booby. If you don't know the reference, it's from Talladega Nights. Ricky Booby, right? What was the driver's name? He drove the Pierre Water car, the green car in Talladega Nights. That's where it's from. He's live streaming on Twitch today, and he posted in our Discord. I've never seen him do that before. I clicked the link, right? We have a video game Discord link where you can, if you're streaming a game or whatever, you can go in there, throw your link in, and he did that respectively. He didn't go to our general chat and do it because sometimes that gets a little annoying, right? You don't want. It's like when you do the @everyone for some reason that pisses everybody off all the time. I get it if you're spamming it, but it doesn't really make me mad. So, anyways, I clicked the link, go to his Twitch stream. I'm watching, and we start talking about the Razorbacks. My name on Twitch is not Ty Hudson; it's Tyzilla83. And he didn't realize, okay, Tyzilla, I asked him if he's going to watch the Razorbacks, and he goes, oh, man, are you Ty Richardson? Ty, by the way, Ty Richardson's Tye. And I'm like, no, I'm Ty Hudson. And he's like, oh. I about died. I was dying, man. I'm not even gonna lie about it. I was dying. It was great. I let him down. You should have seen the level of disappointment. He's like, "Oh wow, Ty Richardson's in my live chat." And then when I told him who I am, I was like, "Oh, I'm Ty Hudson." Oh. Anyways, shout out to him. If you guys want to watch, if you're into watching Twitch streamers, I do from time to time, especially if they're Razorbacks or if they're Arkansans. I like to throw some support to my local content creators. All right. Thanks for the great content. Hey, I appreciate that super chat, Moondog. You're the man. Justin Smith is the difference maker on the team. I'm telling you, you can see it from earlier in the year. You can see the difference. It's incredible. Kelly Marie, Mizzou lost. Did they? Oh, that sucks for them. I love watching them lose. I mean, you'd rather them keep winning. We got to play smarter. Nobody's LOLing at that. I thought that was damn funny. I mean, if you watched his face just completely come down, like he was just so disappointed I wasn't Ty Richardson. I'm sorry. King Mello says we got to play smarter and stronger. Too many unforced turnovers and errors. Ty, I like you better than Richardson. Oh, Lance, you are too kind, man. I appreciate you and Kelly Marie. You guys know that. Jenna Mayes says Twitch streamers are good about not self-promoting unless it's in a welcome part of Discord. Yeah, and that's great. I don't do that. I throw it right in the main. Watch Jalen rebound. Good Lord. Watching Jalen Williams rebound is a treat. He goes after the ball, doesn't he? He's aggressive towards – I mean, they were crashing the boards. They were absolutely crashing the boards tonight. Who's Ty Richardson? T-Y-E Richardson. He's on the radio. He's Morning Rush. He's actually, like, we talk. We're part of the ESPN Hit That Line podcast network. If you go and look them up, we're on their website. They promote us. You might hear my voice if you listen to 99.5 here in Northwest Arkansas, doing a promotion for the Hog Talk podcast. Joined late, but how about them Hogs? Devo playing well. Can the special guest segments wait till halftime? Oh, right? I know. Why is that? That's a good point, Carson. And I loved Musselman's, like, she was so sweet. Musselman's mom, Eric Musselman's mom, sounded like such a sweetheart, you know? Like, but I'm the same way. Like, why couldn't that have waited? Or, like, after the game? Give her, like, a little bit. I don't know why they got to do that right smack dab in the middle of the first half like they do. Let's go down the numbers here really quick. This is why you guys are here, though. We can spit, cuss, swear. I could read your chat. Forget the radio. Forget going into their Twitter live streams. They're not gonna. You know, I sit here and smoke cigars and eat. Didn't I eat hot dogs on here once? You're here for the Married with Children. That's what I am. I'm Married with Children. Those guys are like whatever ABC's got on the air, right? I'm Fox's Married with Children or The Simpsons. How about 4 of your starting 5 in double digits tonight, huh? Devo poured it on. I did not realize he had 18 points. I knew he hit double. I didn't know he hit 18. That's a surprise to me. 18 points. I think that's his highest scoring game of the year. They turned it over a lot tonight. 13 to Florida 16. Tate with 3 turnovers, Moody with 3, and everybody else with 2 or less. The only 2 that did not have turnovers were Desi Seals and Jackson. Desi Seals still clearly not 100% tonight, but they ended up rotating 9. Florida, who ended up rotating, I think 10 or 11 guys. I mean, but they're still just not. I think the further down the totem pole you go for Florida, they're just not very talented outside of like 3 or 4 guys. They're 2 or 3 guys. They're starters, right? They're key 2 or 3 players that are starters, routine starters. The rest of their bench just kind of meh, you know, which is surprising. And they're still a good basketball team. It's like that's enough for them. That's enough for them to. I think they could be a tournament team, but they're going to fall to 10-6 here, right? But again, your leading scorer is Devo. Well, let's go down Florida's numbers really quick. By the way, they shot 100% at the free throw line, 14 of 14. They did something right tonight, right? I mean, they're one of the best percentage offenses in the country and in the SEC. Their leading scorer tonight, and they had some pretty good production off their bench. We knew that Castleton was going to come out and ball, and he did. He had 13 points off the bench, but their leading scorer was Appleby. No surprise there, 16 points. He turned the ball over tonight 7 times, but he was 3 for 3 from the free throw line, 1 of 7 outside, out in the perimeter, out in 3-point land, 6 of 14 from the floor. So, yeah, I mean, they had some really good production off their bench. They played everybody, and they knew they were going to have to, especially when this thing got close and it got tight there towards the end. But Arkansas, I mean, they found a way. They blow 15, what could have been easily a 20-plus point lead. They blow that. Florida comes back, takes I think their largest lead was 2 points. In the second half, their largest lead, I believe, was 1 point. So, okay, back to Arkansas. Devo's your leading scorer, 18 points. This guy had a ball game, 3 assists, 5 rebounds. He had a steal. Justin Smith tonight. And it's so funny to me when we hear about, you know, when you hear about other players that missed time and they got to play the Razorbacks, but they didn't have their guy, right? Oh, well, they didn't have so-and-so tonight. And we heard that with Justin Smith. The SEC Network especially gave a lot of respect to Justin Smith, but you saw a lot of the noise on Twitter, like who cares about Justin Smith from opposing fans? Not Hog fans. Hog fans knew what was up. Look what he did for you tonight. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steals, 2 blocks, 15 points. Are you serious, Justin Smith? Are you serious? That is production. That is like, you'll take that every single game and then some. I don't know what his most points in a game are this year. I think he's had more than 15. He did turn the ball over a couple of times, but that's okay. Everybody turned the ball over outside of 2 players. What a night for him. Moody ended up with 14 points. He also attacked the boards. Arkansas, I mean, they're outside of Arkansas. I'll say this. If Arkansas was better at the rim, Florida would not have the rebounds that they ended up having tonight. They had 36 to Arkansas's 37. But I think you had one possession where they missed 4 there had to be at least 3 easy shots right there at the rim. I say easy. I mean, Florida was there causing trouble. But when you've got a 7-3 Connor Vanover, when you've got, I'm pretty sure, I think Jalen was the other forward in the game at the time. Like, they just could not get anything to fall. Nothing comes easy for the Razorbacks at the rim, and I can't figure out why. I for the life of me, I don't understand it. But they made some nice. I mean, they got it. They got it going. I mean, after all, they did finish 28 of 63. So Florida. We're going all over the place. I apologize. Let's go back to Florida really quick, and we'll wrap up what they did. 37% from the floor, almost 38% there, 23 of 61. 19% at three-point range, 4 of 21, but they were 100% at the free throw line, 14 of 14. They turned the ball over too much. 16 is just too much. 13 you're not super happy with the Razorbacks, but you're going to take that, especially when the other guys turn the ball over more. Arkansas. 28 of 63 from the floor, 44%. Once again, it's been lately, it seems like it's okay if Arkansas doesn't heat up outside. It's okay. So long as they're making plays down in the paint somehow, or they're getting to the free throw line, doing whatever it takes to at least drop down the deuce, right? To get that sounded way worse. I did not mean for that to come out like that. We're not talking about as long as you can knock down the 2 some way, somehow, and you can get that going, and you could score points. You find a way to score points. You could live with not knocking down threes. I think it feels a lot later than 8:30. You can live with that. You were 4 of 15 from 3-point land. You were sub 27%, but then you shot almost 79% at the free throw line, 15 and 19. I'm not going to complain about, look, Jalen Williams off the bench got 10 rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds, 7 defensive rebounds. I thought he had a block. No assists, no blocks, but he had 4 points. Connor Vanover, 2 blocks. Again, Justin Smith with 2. And then J.D. Note had a block. It was actually a really nice, clean block. So, again, Moody, 3 of 14, not a phenomenal performance, but he scored just right under his average. I think he's right at about 15 or 16 points a game right now. He was 6 of 7 at the free throw line. As long as you're finding ways. If you're not knocking down the 3, if you're shooting sub 30% on 18, 19 attempts at 3-point range, finding a way to get the points, and that's what Arkansas has done all year. They've done a really good job of that. So Arkansas now 9-4 in conference play. LSU's behind you at 8-4. Tennessee's at 7-5. Ole Miss, who's been surprising, 7-6. They're 12-8 on the year. But Arkansas and Alabama are tied for first overall record at 17-5. Alabama at 12-1 in conference play. Arkansas again 9-4. And you are sitting at number 2 in the conference. The rest of this season, it's fun. It's fun right now when we're like, oh man, you're top 3 in the SEC. Let's win out. I just want to make the tournament. I do not expect them to beat Alabama. I just don't. Unless you're going to have to play the prettiest basketball that you've played all year. Like the halfway point in the first half till about the first few minutes of the second half, that kind of Razorback basketball, and then Alabama's going to have to take a little bit of a step back for you to win that game, even though it's in Bud Walton. They're not perfect. They are beatable. And when Arkansas plays and we talked about this today in Discord, when Arkansas plays at their best, they are capable of beating anybody in this conference. They should have beaten Oklahoma State. I still think that, that's one of those games. Oh, man, they should have won that game. Not that it matters, because right now you're riding a beautiful win streak in conference play. You're at 7 games. 7-game win streak in conference play. You're going to take that all day long. 1 game at a time. You still got to get through Texas A&M, who you'll play on the 20th. Let me get back to live chat here. Let's see. Alex Henderson, Devo Davis with 18 tonight. Isn't that crazy? Isn't it just crazy? Joined late. Oh, I already read that. Al Bundy. Pig. I don't give a damn. You can't get who like 90s television, the GOAT, man. You guys remember animated, but still Nickelodeon in the 90s? I mean, come on. Doug, Rugrats, what was that show? Recess? Was that what it was called? But that wasn't, I don't think that was Nickelodeon, or was it? I think it aired on Saturday mornings. I think it was called Recess. It seems like Note doesn't even shoot at all anymore from the perimeter. He seems way more hesitant. Yeah. Didn't see Jalen even get the ball much out on the perimeter, too. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not. Us in Florida were 7 seeds coming in. Florida likely dropped to an 8, said Joe Lenardi. But for us, maybe go 6-ish. It's possible. Yeah, I could see that. And you're going to live with a 6 or 7 seed. I mean, I'm all right with that. Justin Smith is a beast, says Mr. Bloodline. Bloodline, how you doing, man? Tony Brown, I hope this makes up for the shellacking Florida gave us in football. It should. I wanted to run them out of the arena. I hold grudges. When you beat our ass in something, I want to beat you in something else. And normally that's been like the go-to for baseball, right? You're like, they beat the hell out of us in football. Of course, it's been that way for the last 3 or 4 years. You're like, we'll get you back in baseball. Oh, wait. COVID. Hey, Ty, we love you in Arizona. Where do you think the Hogs end up in the NCAA tournament? Right now, I don't know. I don't talk seeding anyways. I'm not one to do that, especially with COVID. I mean, it's a good question, Tim. I do appreciate the question. With COVID especially, I'm not one, like, the closer we get, when we get out of the conference tournament, then we'll really start to churn up the seeding talk. But at this point, I'm just not going to do it. Not yet. Not yet. They will win 4 of their last 5. Bet you a Subway sandwich, Tyler Hudson. All right, Pops. Arky 56. You owe me like 15 subs, by the way. You're lucky I'm not cashing them in yet, Dad. You're lucky. Ren and Stimpy was good. Ren and Stimpy was weird. It was good. To beat Bama, we got to hit our threes, get the rebounds, shoot 80% from the free throw line, and killer defense. That's how we beat Bama. And that's not impossible. That's not impossible, right? I mean, Arkansas at their best, I think, again, can go toe-to-toe with anybody in this conference. At their worst, well, you lose to Alabama 90-59. Or you lose to LSU 92-76. And that first game against Mizzou was ugly. You just played terrible. And that game was really a lot closer if I remember right, for most of that game until the final few minutes. Why can't I remember that game? I don't remember how that game. I remember it was kind of it wasn't really ever back and forth, but Arkansas was shooting terribly. Mizzou stretched the lead out. Arkansas was able to close it up a little bit, and then Mizzou just was able to close the game out. But then you went on the road against Tennessee, and you could have beaten a top 10 team at the time on the road. And we said it all year long. You get back to that basketball, you're capable of winning a lot of games, and look where we're at. You're sitting at 17-5. If you do win out, again, not impossible, but if you do, it's going to be tough. That'll put you at 18, 19, 20, 21, and 5 going into SEC tournament play. So, yeah, you got to be all right with that, right? If you can do that, if you can do it. Don't forget, Bama is coming to Bud Walton, and the crowd will be there. Well, some of the crowd. Unless something changed that I'm not aware of, I think 4,000 is all they're going to allow. Tanya Henry, I think Arkansas, with the way they're playing right now, could beat anybody in the NCAA tournament. Ooh, I don't know if I'd go that far. There's a couple teams there at the top that are not losing games right now. Gus Malzahn to UCF. Thoughts? Manny, all I could say is I don't know. Good luck. Sayonara. Auburn kept you probably for a little too long. Kudos to Auburn, though. I mean, right? We talk about all the time, I get people that come in here and say that this is a fire-happy league. You know, if you don't perform in 2 or 3 years, you're out the door. In Arkansas's case, you're as bad as Chad Morris. You're out the door. Kudos to Auburn. I think we know why they got stuck in that situation. Oh, it's that school to the west that all the rumors were that he was going to leave to go coach. I think Arkansas did okay. I think they did okay with who they brought in. I think Sammy Pitty's going to do all right. I hope we get off that 8-9 seed in the tournament. I hope we can get off that 8 to 9 seed in the tournament. Yeah. How is Malzahn not depressed? How do you know he's not? I shouldn't say that. That's mean. Real question, though. I mean, someone in the media asked him about crazy fans. I don't know if you guys caught that or not. Do y'all watch the SEC Network for some reason? That is the only place where I can find Arkansas analysis on TV. Tanya Henry, I think Gus Malzahn's going to do great. I think he's a great coach, but I never want him as an Arkansas coach. He screwed us over too many times. That's kind of where I'm at with it, you know. Gus will do well at UCF. The competition will lend itself to that. Good news is that's been a place where coaches have gone, and if they're successful, they go on to bigger and better things. And it seems like it's easy at that level when you consider where they're at, right there in Florida. They get all these transfers. Would rather beat LSU than Bama. That's what I'm talking about, Justin. That's exactly what I'm talking about, man. I want LSU. Bama, like, you're going to understand getting a thumping by Bama. You can live with that. But I hate losing to money stacks Will Wade. To wiretap Will Wade. I hate losing to that known cheater. I hate it. And as much shit as I give that guy for cheating, I know, like, one day something's going to happen, the Razorback football program or basketball or baseball. Well, I don't know about baseball, but there's going to be some, you know, something like that happen. I'm not saying that they're cheating. I'm not saying that at all. But I don't care. And I'll say the same thing about Arkansas. If you're cheating, you're a bum. Don't cheat. But we know wiretap Will. That guy got caught cheating, and LSU stuck with that guy. Well, I say they're stuck. They haven't made any moves. It's amazing to me. Like, cheating is paying off for that program. Oh, it drives me crazy. Rather beat Texas than all that. Well, yeah, but Gavin, we're not playing them, buddy. Did you call him wiretap Will? I sure did. Money stacks. That's who he is. He's money stacks. Pruitt in his McDonald bags. Oh, that wasn't just a apple turnover they had in that bag, was it? All right. I do appreciate you guys. It's always fun. It's always fun when you win a game in a post-game show and we get to sit here and just shoot the shit, right? A&M coming up next. February 20th, 7:30 p.m., SEC Network. Arkansas right now, it shouldn't even be close on the basketball power index, and it is not. Arkansas is favored at 81%. A&M is 8-7, 2-6. All I got to say is don't overlook anybody. I don't care if they're winless. Do not overlook. I don't think Musselman will. You look at his losses this year, there's not a single loss where you're like, how the hell did you lose that game? There's not a single one. And you got to give him that. And so he doesn't, from what I could tell, based on this record, of course, the first time you played A&M was postponed, or you were supposed to play, it was postponed. You took care of business on the road against Vandy. You beat Auburn twice. You're going to understand losing to Cade Cunningham in Oklahoma State, the number one NBA draft prospect. You see who they are without him, but with him, they are fantastic. Speaking of Will Wade and money tap, or wiretap, yeah, they there was definitely some stuff going on with that too. They got Oklahoma State is also in trouble. I think they have a postseason ban this year, right? But you took care of business against Mississippi State. You went on the road at Rupp. Like Kentucky as a team, had you lost that game, and yeah, it was a close one, 81-80, a little close for comfort. But you took care of business. You won on the road against Mizzou. You beat Florida tonight. They don't overlook teams. I don't think, and I think if you lose to A&M, it's because they're, what was it that someone said all those years ago? You don't mess with a dog in the corner or a mad dog in the corner or something. I don't remember how he put it, but yeah, they're not having a very good year. And imagine what it would mean to them to beat Arkansas, who's 17-5, who's ranked, coming into their place with all 10 fans in the stadium. How big that would be for them to kind of put to start a little bit of momentum for the next year to get a win against Arkansas. It could mean a lot. So they're backed into a corner. I would not overlook Texas A&M. Arkansas should beat them by double digits easy. This ought to be you walk in there and you take care of business. If they play like they've played in SEC play since Alabama, since your blowout loss to Alabama, but since then, if you continue to play like you have, and that includes the loss on the road against Oklahoma State, you should mop the floor with A&M. And then you get ready to take care of business against Alabama and LSU back-to-back. Then you're on the road to close the year out against South Carolina. So, if I had to put, if you're asking me, Ty, you're in Vegas and you're putting down $100,000 on these final 4 games, if I'm being real with you, I'd probably say 2-2. It's Will Wade has coached really well against Eric Musselman. He has had some success against Musselman. Alabama is just playing outstanding basketball. And you should take care of business on the road against A&M and South Carolina. And that's okay. Then you're 19-7 at that point, going in the SEC tournament. And I think the way things are looking for the brackets and what have you, I think Arkansas, I think they're good. I think they're in really good shape. So we'll see. All right. Go back. Ty Quinn. Pittman's team passed the eye test. Bielema didn't. Oh, okay. Random question. Look, I realize we all love Pittman. Oh, so we're talking Pittman for a second here. But when Bielema won 4 games, y'all called for his head. When Pittman did the same thing, he's the GOAT. I love Pittman, but I still don't get it. You have to consider the circumstances, right, Tony? I mean, you've got to consider what he took over. I mean, this is a team that luckily you did have some talent to work with, right? Traylon Smith, who knew? Who knew Traylon would be that good? Rakeem Boyd doesn't live up to what we thought he would do from what he did in 2019 when he rushed for over 1,000 yards. So you're able to overcome that with Traylon Smith. Burks, Mike Woods, and Devion Warren stepped up this year. Of course, Warren would end up getting hurt. Defensively, you didn't think you had anything on defense. And now look at us. I mean, you're talking about a couple of All-Americans possibly on that defense going into 2021. But you have to consider the circumstances. Also, look at the Auburn game. You won that game. You got cheated out of that game. LSU, a game you should have won, but you were missing, 90% of your starters on the defensive line. You were playing Enoch, Jackson, and Miller on the defensive line. These are 2 guys that should never sniff the 2 deep year 1. Or, technically year 1.5 for Miller, who's a redshirt freshman. But you were banged up in the second half of the year, and you very easily could have finished 5-5. I mean, if you watch the same football I watched, if you watch the same Razorbacks I watched, there's plenty there for them to build off of going into next year. We'll see. They made a lot of changes. New receiver coach, new linebacker coach, new. It seems like everything. Like there's a lot of new coaching. Fortunately, it looks like Kendall Briles will be your offensive coordinator, and Odom will be your defensive coordinator in 2021. Plenty to build off of. And like someone said in chat, they passed the eye test. They absolutely passed the eye test. When you go back and look at Bielema's last year, it was like this team let go of the rope. You look at recruiting, There just seemed to be no interest in recruiting. He burned his bridges to the state of Texas. He burned those bridges. Like, why would you do that? I mean, it's why Chad Morris had to walk in here. Say what you want about Chad, and I will agree with you. The one thing Chad got right was he understood recruiting mattered. And you wound up, I mean, you look up and down this roster, the guys that are balling out on both sides of the ball are Chad's guys that he recruited. So then you fast forward to this 2021 class. Good Lord, you're stacked on offense. Like, there's not a receiver in this class I don't like. You might have answered some questions with A.J. Green. I think you did, for who's up next. I think A.J. Green, well, I shouldn't even say might. I'm sold on Green. Defensively, I didn't grade this recruiting class very well. I said it was like a D-, and I'm sticking by that. Defensively, this was not a good recruiting class. But you look at, again, go back and watch these games even the games they lost, what they had to overcome and how well they played start to finish. There wasn't really ever a game outside of Bama and Florida where you were like, well, this isn't even a game. I'm turning the damn channel. Auburn started off that way, and you go back to the second half. Watch that second half. They completely stopped a run game. Auburn was averaging like 8.5 yards a carry in the first half. They had over 200 yards of offense on the ground. Go back and watch how they adjusted, and they kind of flipped the script on defense. And Arkansas found their way back into the game again. Go back to the LSU game, the bullshit fumble that the officials missed. It should have been Arkansas's ball on like the LSU, what was it, like the 30-yard line. And later on in that drive, they did end up fumbling the ball again, but now you're like 30 yards downfield. So. Again, with all the pieces you were missing there, then you go back, then you look at Missouri, who is arguably statistically like one of the top 5 defenses in the SEC. Arkansas walked up and down the field with a backup quarterback in KJ Jefferson, who had over 300 yards of offense in that game. 4 touchdowns, was phenomenal. And oddly enough, I stand by what I said. I still think if Franks had played, you win that game. There's a difference. There's a reason why he's QB1. And it's nothing that KJ did wrong. Obviously, KJ was phenomenal. And it wasn't because of KJ that you lost that game, but you were without your leader and your captain on offense. If you don't think that played a role on the sidelines or with that team on the field, you're kidding yourself. They should have beat Mizzou on the road with a backup quarterback, with a redshirt freshman. So, again, I ask you, go back. You can even watch Alabama if you want. There's nothing to see there. Just Alabama dominates. Same thing with Florida. But even against Florida, you were able to get some stuff going on offense. Of course, their defense was atrocious. But I think you need to go back and watch the games again because they absolutely passed the eye test. There's plenty to be excited about for Razorback football. I'm not saying they're going to turn around and win 9 games next year, assuming they play a full 12-game schedule. I'm not saying that. But it's baby steps, right? Arkansas is not the kind of program where a coach comes in year 1, he goes out and wins 9 games, unless you're Houston Nutt. Back in the late 90s when the SEC was nothing like what it is today, right? You've got to build it up. That's the kind of program Arkansas football is because you don't have an overwhelmingly amount of talent up and down your roster like the Floridas, like the Bamas, like the Georgia's, Ohio State's, Oklahoma out west. You don't have that. So you've got to work with what you have, and you've got to mold that team, find an identity, put a good product out on the field, and hope for the best. And I think Sam Pittman did exactly that year 1. You've got some star power on defense, man. You've got some star power on defense. Can we talk Justin into extending his post-grad work through next year? Woo Pig Suey. So love my piggies. Have a beautiful night. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate that. That was a pretty dumb question. Laugh out loud. My bad. No, look, and I don't think anybody should be penalized for a controversial question or comment in chat, unless it's just unless you're talking shit about me, then I'm going to come at you. I appreciate it. And look, I open dialogue here, man. That's what it's all about. But I think there's a lot to be excited about going into next year, assuming you understand the process that has to happen. It's not an overnight fix, but boy, do I feel good about next year in terms of the improvement that I expect to see. I am really excited. Treylon Burks. Oh, my gosh. Freaking nature. All right, we're at 50 minutes. Okay. Note to self, never compare Bielema to Pittman. It's a death sentence. Y'all lay off my man now. Y'all lay off. How do the Steve Spurrier Florida team do against today's SEC? Oh, that's a good question. The fun and gun. If we split the remainder of our games, can we make the tournament? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Absolutely. Pittman is one of the best recruiters in the country, though, because he is almost the best college O-line coach in the country. He has a lot going for him from the start. Says Josh Rupel. Adam Ray, I love the football transition after a basketball win. Love everything Razorbacks. Right? Yes, we should, but we would probably drop down to like 8 maybe. Yeah, no, you would drop seeding. Yeah, that's what happens if you go 2-2 in these last 4. You're going to probably drop down to a 9 seed. It just depends too on how the selection committee views the SEC, right? You've got, I think, 4 teams in the SEC ranked currently. So you got to work with what you have, and if you finish, I think if you bump up to a 6 seed, which I think it's possible, and you win out, well, now God only knows. And that's why I don't like to speculate, especially during a COVID year. So, all right, that is it. I do appreciate you guys, everyone who took part in Super Chat tonight. Shout out to you. Again, if you guys want to be a part of the PT and Patreon, that link is provided for you down below. Check out the Hog Talk podcast as well. Ty, you are a superstitious fan? ? Do you believe in the woo-woo? I'm not superstitious. I'm not. No. Now, do I knock on wood when I say something like, oh, man, we're beating Florida by 15 points. We're going to win, or it's looking really good, and then not want to knock on wood? Yeah, maybe a little bit. Hogs winning while ranked against Florida. Yes, I love it, Jim Daniels. All right. I do appreciate you guys once again. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on the next post game. I do want to apologize. I did say that there's some edited content on the way. I'm just struggling a little bit to get it out there. I mean, love my wife to death. She's at home working right now, taking up the space in here. She needs the space in here, so it's not only that too. I've just not had the time. To sit down and get the entire thing, the script written out, the things I want to put together. I'm also struggling with some copywritten stuff that I'm not allowed to post without getting a copyright strike. So then there's also that. I swear I've got mailbag questions I wanted to answer. A question about Malik Hornsby and KJ Jefferson and the quarterback battle moving forward into spring camp. There's a couple of other questions I had DM'd to me on Twitter. If you guys have any questions, feel free. I'm probably not going to read them here now, but if you want to DM me on Twitter, Discord, whatever, maybe they'll make the video. But right now I've got 3 questions that I'm going to answer on this video, and God willing, I'm going to get it done and get it to you guys. Some really good questions. And again, if you guys want to do that, you can follow me on Twitter. God, I forget my name on Twitter all the time. Ty Hudson HTP, I think's what it is on Twitter. I don't know. Just look up Ty Hudson on Twitter. You should find it. Or if you're friends with me on Facebook, you can DM me there as well, and maybe your question will make the video. So, all right. Woo pig. I'll see you guys on the next one. Go Hogs.